Hello, welcome to Accounting 2010 Chapter 6 Videos, Video 2. In Video 2, I'm going to demonstrate what the different cost methods look like and begin the Gulf Haven problem. In Video 3, we're going to go ahead and finish the Gulf Haven problem. So first, what I'd like to do is talk to you before we start the problem about remembering that as we are doing this problem, we are actually just making assumptions. That whatever assumption, specific identification, LIFO, FIFO, weighted average, may not be the actual flow of goods out of our store. We're just assigning this assumption because we generally do not always know the actual flow. So I like to show 4 different visuals to give you an idea of what these flow assumptions look like. So the first one is specific identification. And we're not going to be covering specific identification in our problem because it's very easy. Let me explain. I like to use cars from the movie Cars, and I hope all of you know who these are. These are really fun characters. So let's say that we sold cars, and we know whether or not we sold Lightning McQueen. We know if we sold Little Mater or if we sold Sally. We would know which car went out the door, and we would know which cars would remain on our shelves. So if we sold Lightning McQueen would be the cost of our goods sold. And if Sally remains on the shelf, Sally would be our inventory. And it would be very easy to assign the costs because they're easily identifiable. So that is the first cost assumption that we could, the cost flow assumption we could choose, and it is as simple as that. The second cost flow assumption that we can choose can be FIFO, first in, first out. And for FIFO, I like to think about food. So, as I had said in the previous video, with food, we're going to assume that these oldest bags of vegetable, they're the ones that came in first. The first vegetable bags of vegetables in the store should be the first ones to go out. We know that isn't always true because people come in and they reach to the back and they move things around. But we're going to assume that all customers are good customers and they grab the oldest vegetables, and they are the vegetables that went in. First vegetables in are the first to go out the door. The last ones back there, they're still sitting in our inventory and they're part of our inventory. These would be the cost of the good sold, first in, first out. LIFO, it's the opposite. Under LIFO, I like to think Lincoln Logs, that you've got a pile of Lincoln Logs, and naturally, if you were to sell Lincoln Logs, you'd be grabbing off the top. You'd be grabbing the newest, the last Lincoln Logs in are going to be the first ones to go out, and those oldest Lincoln Logs are going to be sitting in your inventory because they're harder to get to. So I just think Lincoln Logs, last Lincoln Logs in, first ones to go out. The last method we'll be demonstrating is the weighted average, and I like to think about a big gas tank. So think about it, you've got this big gas tank, and you've got this layer of gas sitting down here, and you've decided to buy more gas. Well, let's say you paid $1 a gallon for the gas here. That's what you brought it in from Conoco or whomever. And then you got to bring in some new gas. Well, when you dump that gas in there, you're not going to be able to tell this gas, $1 a gallon gas, from the new gas, say you pay $2, it's all going to get mixed up. So we're going to have to calculate a weighted average, and we're going to do that using the proportional amounts in order to calculate an average, a weighted average cost. And I say weighted average because it is different than a simple average, and I will be demonstrating that. So now you have a visual of all of the different types of inventory valuation methods. I'm next going to jump out and I'm going to show you the Gulf Haven problem. So I'm going to delete a little bit of the data that was left over in the Gulf Haven problem and start. So in class we did this. We set up the fact that we had a company, Gulf Haven, and they carry an inventory of putters and other golf clubs. And Gulf Haven uses the FIFO method. Well, I'm going to demonstrate all 3 methods for you. So Gulf Haven will be using all 3 methods to calculate what the cost of their goods sold will be and what their ending inventory balance. And so under Golf Haven, the company of Golf Haven, they have decided that they're going to sell all of their putters for $128. That's what they're going to sell them to the clients. So from now on, we're going to be Golf Haven and we're going to have customers, and every putter that we sell, we're going to sell for $128. And we just have to determine which putters actually sold and what the cost allocation is. Now, in some of your problems, you can have different sales prices for different sales. So in the case of Golf Haven, we had a sale on November 6th, we sold 7. We had a sale on November 17th, we sold 20. And we had a sale on November 30th, we sold 4 more. And every single time, we sold them for $128 a piece. But in reality, if we were having good sales, we might try to bump those prices up. So we might have sold these for 128. Then we might have decided, let's sell these 20 for 130, and then we're going to sell these 4 for 135. The prices may be changing. And we would have a total sales revenue. We would go 7 times 128, and we would go 20 times 130, and we would have 4 times 135, and we would have a total sales revenue of, adding them together, of $4,036. But in reality, in this problem, we sold all of our putters for $128, which gave us a total sales revenue of $3,968. So we're going to keep this in mind at the end of the problem when we try to calculate what our total gross profit is, because the formula for gross profit is sales minus cost of goods sold. That's what we're going to be doing next. We're going to be calculating the cost of the goods, the putters we sold, using FIFO, LIFO, and weighted average as a cost assumption method. That will be in video 3.